It even says a peaceful mind is not a little thing. A tranquil mind is not a little thing. And we need to remember that we think that there's so much doing. I think another statement that I always think is interesting is somebody who was a core student one time went on a peace march. And he said, I wanted to go out there and march for peace and on the streets. And he said, but I found out that in the midst of the peace march, it was the most unpeaceful place. They were really angry people on that peace march. He said it was the most unpeaceful thing in the world to do. And I saw that happened not that long ago when they were marching for, I think it was the environment down in New York, down in on one of the main streets down there. I think even Meryl Streep was out there marching for the conservation of energy and so forth. And they left more trash than any other parade. And they said, here it is. It's all about conservation. It's about being responsible. And we're so unresponsible, irresponsible. And people have said that many times. People on a peace march are never peaceful. So to me, we do all these outward things that look like a big show. And the ego loves a big show. I mean, just a bit. Let's put on the biggest show we can put on. That is not where peace comes from. Peace comes from within. I mean, in that still small voice. What did Jesus say? He had the worst commentary about the priests in the temple. Remember that? They were the vipers because they prayed out so everybody could see them. What did he say? Go within in the silence in your little temple within and pray without ceasing. You don't have to make a big show of it. He didn't like the people making a big show of it. And so to me, it's a good example for all of us. We look out there and we don't think we're doing enough. We are. If we feel the love of God within us now, we're dealing at the level of cause, not effect. The ego deals with effect. It's always going to point to the effect. It's always going to look at all the effects that are out there. You're not doing it enough. Look at all the effects because it wants you to stay locked into never solving the problem. But if we can begin to deal at the level of the effect, and that is to simply have a moment of peace. I remember if you read my latest article in the Holy Encounter, when I love the story, I've shared this with you, where David Letterman had Oprah Winfrey on. And of course, Oprah was asking if they were meditating. If Dave, are you meditating, Dave? And he says, I'm meditating right now, Oprah. And everybody laughed because Dave's just goofball. That's just Dave. He's meditating right now. Well, I was thinking, I bet you he is. I wouldn't doubt it. What does the Course tell us? We can meditate when we're talking to someone. We can feel that sense of peace right now in the moment of talking or in a business phone call or whatever you're doing. When you're driving, of course you can. And so then he says, well, actually, I've got a guy named Meditation Bob who's been teaching me and the whole staff how to meditate. And she says, oh, that's good. She says, I meditate 2 hours a day. How long do you meditate? And he says, Bob says it really doesn't matter how long you do. He says, because if you wade in the water, you still get wet. Doesn't matter how deep you go. And I love that because to me, that's what meditation's about. A moment of peace. It's not to take. Do you think God has got a watch? Let me see. You're at 2 hours. Good for you, Oprah. Dave, 10 minutes. Let's work on it. There's no time, right? There's no time. So a moment of peace, it says, blesses the planet, blesses all of us, just gives so much back. What does it say? These little moments that you give, you are returned to this world in ways we can't even imagine. So to me, any of us can just, for a moment, feel a sense of peace, right? Oh, you just bless the world in ways you can't even imagine. Eons of time. So let's not get worried about, I don't have enough time to give an hour in meditation. If you dwell in the pool of the divine, you've done a great service just for a moment. Your little willingness doesn't say a lot. It says your little willingness. So important for us. Don't diminish those little moments. Don't diminish the power of love because the ego does that well enough. You're making a great service to this planet, to this universe, when we dwell and remember that we are one with God. That the love of God is within us right now. Can never be taken away from us. Why? Because we're creations of that. Nothing was lost or left out of us. If we are an extension of our Creator and we are the effect of our Creator, we've got everything that He is within us now. And if this world is an effect of us, within this world is our solution as well. If we feel lost in it, then focus on what is the reality in this world, and that is the love, the calls for love and the extension of love. If we can focus on that, if that can be foremost in our minds every time we're faced with a conflict or a difficult person or even a happy person, then we're doing what we are to do, which is to remember love, to feel it within us, to remember it within us.